Welcome to Clean Plates, where every bite tells a story. I'm Brian Romaine, joining you on a culinary journey to understand the whys behind our diets and desires. Welcome to Clean Plates, where every bite tells a story. I'm Brian Romaine, joining you with Keith Graham today. Keith is a local friend to the Denver food community. Keith, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Brian. I appreciate it, man.
No, of course. I think that it's really great that you and I get to work in the community together when it comes to the health and wellness, and we get to work at Upswell together. And you're also a lend friend to the community as far as food in Denver and kind of the area surrounding. So I'm really excited to have you on the show today.
Yeah, man. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to chat.
Absolutely. So tell me what sparked your first passion for the food and kind of lifestyle that you've been portraying for the last few years.
Honestly, it goes back quite a bit. It was I'm from a small town in Texas, so it wasn't very many nice places to eat growing up outside of like your normal, like I can remember Golden Corral being the thing to do like Sundays after church. But it's this one restaurant a few towns over. We actually have one here in Denver. It's called Papados. Papados was like my first introduction to just like a fancier meal. I went with some family friends, and after that, I was just hooked. And then when I kind of got out of the small town and moved to the city and really got a chance to experience some of the nicer, places that you can go to, then I really started honing in on like what I liked and the things that I don't like. So yeah, it definitely started at an early age, but I feel like my palate has definitely grown over the years.
Absolutely. I mean, that's great. So do you have a defining moment or a food memory that really shaped your tastes or habits or cooking style of anything, like starting with Papados, but is there other experiences that you can really, commemorate to that?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is when I first started, and I doing this, and I wanted to talk about food. I took a trip to LA, and Los Angeles has a crazy food scene. So I think that trip and really experiencing like a Michelin star restaurant and like from the service to the plating, it really just kind of blew my mind. It's like, wow, this is such a cool experience. This is how I want all my experiences to be from now on. When obviously I don't, eat at Michelin stars every day, but just having the experience to know what good foods taste like. But also, I think one of the things that really shaped it was having conversations with the people that work at these places and seeing how passionate they are about the service and the food that they offer. I think that was really the point where I was like, this is cool. This is something that I want to do frequently and want to be, involved in on just as a consumer standpoint, but also like whatever I can do to help these places succeed and grow. Being able to talk to the chefs and things like that really help shape that love for the food community.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that means a lot to a lot of people. I mean, because you're not only developing something for yourself, but you're growing all these relationships in the community. And I'm sure that has also really evolved a strong relationship with your food over time, I can assume as well.
Right. Yeah. I think that has helped a lot, especially when you can kind of you know where your food comes from. You know that it's made with love. I feel like it's so cool to hear people get excited about the things that they produced or the products that they use or the farmers that they receive their meats from and things like that. So just being in that space and being able to hear these stories and see how much it means to them just helps it mean that much more to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going through a huge resurge right now of regenerative farming. I think we're coming back to a lot of truly organic products, and people are actually trying again to have a real relationship with their food. People are actually paying attention to what goes into their body. So I think it's great because you don't have to follow a particular philosophy or, you know, type of eating if you want to be this direction or that direction. There's so many options for so many people. And I think that's great because supporting people in their stories and what they're making in their food comes from generations and generations of people passing those recipes down and or just people developing them over a certain amount of time. And the fact that you're supporting that, it's amazing.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the best things about what it is that I get to do sometimes is just being able to support these people, not only in their dreams, but like you said, a lot of places that I go and people that I'll talk to, um, yeah, these are recipes that are passed down through generations, and you get to experience, you know, I would say like a part of their life through their food.
You nailed it. You couldn't have been more on the money with that just because I see it as someone has developed this for a reason. They have a connection to this food. And I think that's really what people are trying to do these days versus it's just processed or it comes out of a bag, it's frozen, it's in a box, it's ready to go. And that's hard because some people see all the right words on the frozen food, whether it's, attaining to higher protein or a type of diet or something versus people going out in their community and getting local produce or, local, I should say it like this, supporting local purveyors in
Right.
what their craft is. So what does a typical day of eating look like for you anyway?
Honestly, as of this year, I've been trying to um, do more just eating at home. Um, so just with my own goals, just making sure that I'm getting the right nutrition and not putting any excess stuff in my body that I don't need. Um, that's just been of this year, but normally it can consist of just like an easy breakfast, eggs, oatmeal, something somewhat clean for lunch. And I really like to explore more on the dinner side of things. So that could be um, a local food truck, a restaurant that I might have wanted to try and haven't had a chance. So it just depends on the day and the mood, honestly.
No, absolutely. And then you don't follow any sort of, you know, base diet or anything like that.
No, for me, I feel like when you think about dieting, it's like if you mess up, then it's like end of the world. So I try and think in the terms of just eating stuff that makes my body feel good. I don't necessarily worry about counting calories. I do try and like make sure I get enough protein, but I don't worry about counting calories or anything like that. I just want to eat things that make my body feel good and give me the nutrients to not feel sluggish and be energized during the day.
I hear you on that. Over the years, I have really tried to just put into my body what is most optimal and what will feed me for the day versus, any sort of restrictions or trying to go this way or that way. I'm always just trying to mostly just get protein in as a number one source, and
Right.
everything else kind of just follows suit after that. Do you have like a go-to favorite food or anything that you eat every day?
Um, Usually, I can't think of the name of the place off the top of my head, but it's like a Hawaiian um kind of barbecue spot. I sometimes I go pick it up, sometimes I DoorDash it. But it's for me, it's really good because it covers everything I need. It's rice, like a macaroni salad, and then a protein with like a kale salad on the side. So for me, that hits pretty much everything that I need for the day. Whether that's like I eat it for lunch sometimes, or sometimes I might grab it for dinner. So I feel like that usually covers everything that I need for the day to help me feel the best that I can feel.
I hear that. I mean, I do the same thing all the time when I'm working on the weekends at Bonfire. Is that for lunch? I will definitely have a lot of our, meats and rices and whatnot. Sorry, it's fell. Yeah, a lot of our meats and rices, just because it's what I need. I'm covered. It's good to go. So it just seems like when restaurants are actually cooking real products with, just real ingredients, no BS, no extra, no weird, chemicals or anything like that. So it just really helps when there are restaurants out there that are just keeping things simple and helping you stay on track. Even if you are ordering out, it's at least like something that's real and sustenance that's going to give you substance for the day.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And sometimes I feel like you can get caught up in gimmicks when it comes to what you are putting in your body, whether that's, and I feel like the that's just like the internet. You see so many people, whether that's like keto, carnivore, things like that. And I feel like I said earlier, like I feel like you just need to eat things that work the best for your body. Um, a lot of people think that they need to try these diets or fads or whatever the case may be, especially as we're in like the new year. It's always new year, new me. I want to do this, I want to do that, but I feel like people just forget to do what feels right and do what's best for them. And I feel like a lot of times companies do play on that, whether that's, I've tried places like Factor Meals and things like that. And while the food is not bad with Factor, but, some of the things that they have like tons of sodium in it, which isn't that great. So it's like you definitely have to pick your poison when it comes to things like that. But yeah, I always just try to eat the things that make me feel the best.
Yeah, a friend of mine actually had some complications that his doctor was telling him to stop eating Factor because of the sodium levels.
Right. Yeah. And they don't talk about that a lot because you get served an ad for it, and it's like, oh yeah, this is so easy, microwave it, whatever. And you think because so many people are using it, or using the service, that it's automatically good for you because you see other people using it. And a lot of times people don't take the time to look at the ingredients and see what they're actually putting into their body. And that's just one of the downsides of, I wouldn't say the downside of the internet, but it's one of the downsides of like being pushed some of these things that we see so much.
This episode is brought to you by MyFit Foods. Are you struggling to find healthy, delicious meals that fit your lifestyle? Do you live in Colorado? Well, Look no further than MyFitFoods. At MyFitFoods, they believe that healthy eating should be convenient and flavorful. Their chefs prepare balanced, nutrient-rich meals that are ready to enjoy whenever you are. Whether you're looking to lose weight, build muscle, or simply maintain a healthy diet, they've got you covered. Imagine having a fridge full of tasty meals that are perfectly portioned and tailored to your nutritional goals. No more meal prep, no more guesswork. Just grab, heat, and eat. Look, I've got a busy lifestyle, whether it's podcasting, working my other jobs, or just maintaining my healthy lifestyle by working out 2 to 3 times a week. And MyFitFoods has got me covered. And they've got a special deal just for you. Healthy eating has never been this easy. So head over to myfitfoods.com and use the code MyFit40Den at checkout to get a whopping 40% off your first order. That's myfitfoods.com and use the promo code MYFIT40DEN at checkout for 40% off your first order. So why wait? Start your journey to a healthier you. Fuel your best and feel your best one meal at a time with MyFitFoods. Yeah, no, it's pretty sad when you see a lot of people who are just kind of hawking crap out there. I'm really, really interested though to see the change in all of that though, because I'm interviewing a woman on my show here soon who has her own company called Delish Me. So it's like delish.me. But she started preparing food for her husband who is in the CrossFit space, like, long time ago. And that just what transitioned into her making meals for people now. And she also does focus on helping women a lot as well. So I think that's really, really neat. She sent me some food though, and I'm really interested to try it. It looks phenomenal. So
That's
I think
awesome.
I think it's cool that there's people who are really trying out there and, speaking out for the community and trying to do something right, because I hear you. It's pretty insane how many people have jumped on the, prepared food or the, companies that send you food and you make the little recipes. And, it's all going towards the direction of convenience because
Right.
we all want something that's quick. Everyone is sold that you're too busy to make your own food. Everyone's kind of told from whether it's a ad from someone that you really, really like or you're influenced by, or it's all the way upwards of people like Cristiano Ronaldo or whatever his name is. And it's wild when people attach themselves to being like, oh, well, I want to be like that athlete, or I want to be like my friend who's, quote unquote, killing it right now. So it's tough. And so the way we approach our food and the way we have a relationship with it is kind of more important now as we are growing older. Because I'm 34, so it's like I'm doing my best to do it now
Right.
because I don't want to be in my 50s and 60s and my doctor's just like, what have you been doing for 25, 30 years? It's like you can't just treat yourself like a, experiment and just eat all this diabolical stuff and not expect anything to happen.
Yeah, definitely. And I've also been seeing like an uptick of um like more private chefs who are offering the meal prep service, which I think that definitely could be a better option than some of these other places that have been doing it. Especially since one, is um, who you're getting it from. I think as a private chef, they definitely prepare things with a little bit more cadence or catering to the person who is, they're preparing it for versus just a one size fit all kind of meal plan. Um, and also, I think it's really cool in the aspect that you do get to support somebody local versus supporting these big corporations or chains.
Yeah, because being able to support an individual is so much more rewarding than some big operation, as
Right.
well as, it's like you just said, it's so awesome to see people who are using their skills in the kitchen as a chef, private chef, cook, however you want to, fit the box, and they're using that for a good thing in the community to help people.
Definitely, definitely.
So when it comes to cooking at your house, though, are you more of like a recipe guy, or do you just like to intuitively, make food and measure
Yeah,
stuff out?
I'm definitely more intuitive when it comes to the things that I make. I feel like I rarely follow a recipe. Um, but yeah, I'm definitely more intuitive when it comes to the things that I make at home.
Yeah, and is there a way that you lean towards flavor wise all the time, or do you kind of go all over the place?
Yeah, I try and mix it up a little bit so that, it doesn't get stagnant when it comes to,
Hmm.
the seasonings and the flavors that I use. But I'm pretty much neutral, not too much spice, not too salty or things like that. I try and keep it pretty, neutral but flavorful. Because I feel like that's one thing that, as you're preparing things, sometimes you can get a little heavy handed on the sauce or whatever it is that you're using to kind of jizz it up a little bit. Um, and I think that's where it gets tricky because you could be making something you think is healthy, then you cover it in some sort of sauce, and then that healthy aspect kind of goes out the window. So I try and keep it a little bit more neutral when I'm doing it for myself at home. When I'm out, that's a little bit of a different story. But at home, yeah, definitely more neutral with the flavors and seasonings.
Yeah, people do not understand or realize sometimes where if you put X amount of branded sauce onto something, you could be adding hundreds of calories to your dish depending on how much you're eating, because unfortunately some of these brands just have really high sugar content or really high XYZ in it, and it adds up because you don't realize that only a serving is like a tablespoon,
Right.
and you just sit there,
Kind of
just
defeats the purpose. So I try to keep that in mind when
mhm.
I'm doing things because it is easy to go overboard with said sauces or seasonings and things like that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I remember when I was even a kid and people were kind of perplexed because they'd be like, well, you know, I don't care about eating a double cheeseburger because with the ranch dressing, it's the same amount of calories as the salad.
Right.
I had,
Exactly.
because I'm like you, even though I grew up in a a larger area of Kansas City, people ate fast food like it was going out of style, and so I had friends, parents, and relatives or friends all the time where you'd be at a fast food joint and you'd be like, "Oh, you're gonna eat all that," and they'd be like, "Well, what are you talking about? When you add the dressing, it's the same. So I'm gonna have a diet Pepsi. So stop." It's like it's
Yeah.
like it's whatever. And so they it is what it is. I look at it more these days as like if you're going to be burning off the same amount of calories as you're eating or you're kind of moving with it, obviously I'm not saying go eat fast food, but I know a lot of people who have to put back a lot of caloric intake for how much they're moving, but
Right.
it all adds up to the the same mathematic equation, if you will, versus people who are eating 4,000 calories in a day and moving 20 minutes worth of exercise.
Right. Exactly.
So yeah, it's a it's a wild world out there, but at the same rate, I think we've all developed into a state of mind where we all know that that stuff's not great for you, and that's why you avoid it. That's
Right.
why you don't go to the proverbial fast food places all the time. And unfortunately, that's why they have to bring back these 90s menus now, because they're like, oh man, like fast food is so down in the numbers. We have to get people back here. Why not bring back the sandwich? Why not bring back the item? Why not bring back the fantasy of the nostalgia of the old to get you back in the door? So it's I mean, it's smart marketing, but at the same rate, uh it's just something I still can't give into, and it's just why I just keep on having more of an overall better lifestyle.
Right.
And speaking of which, how does food play a role into your overall well-being and lifestyle?
Um, I think it plays a big part. Just because, for one, for me personally, food has been a great way to network. I've met a lot of great people through collaborations, whether that was restaurant openings, or just popping in to visit a new restaurant and talking to the manager or the owner or the bartender. Um, so for me, it's been a great way to network, but also a great way to find other places that I might, wouldn't have known about through these people that I talk to. So definitely it adds a social aspect for me, which is pretty cool, especially as you get older. When I feel like most people would agree, as you get older, it's not as easy to make friends, and especially as as you're an adult and you have things to do and work and XYZ. I feel like these settings, social food settings, allows you to network and meet people who have a common interest, which one of those things would be food. So yeah, I think it's definitely a pretty cool thing in like my overall lifestyle and day to day, just allowing me um, to meet these people and um, just network.
I love that. I love that you're, shining out for the community, and you're really giving these people voices and, place in what you're doing because you're supporting them. So let's talk about some of those people that you're supporting in your community. Who are some of the people that you can think of when it comes to people you're supporting?
Um, I honestly have a lot of friends within this community that I've made over the past years. Um, Good friend of mine, Chef Raz. He's the owner of Lucina Eatery. Also Create Kitchen School over in the Stanley Marketplace. Great place to take a cooking class, have a cocktail. He's been a really great person to know and get to know. Um, Honestly, it's just way too many people to name without forgetting anybody. But um, all these people have made an impact on my life in a way that has been beneficial to me. And I think I've, made an impact on their lives through just friendship and being supportive to them in in all their endeavors. And I think you guys might have them at Bonfire, Gnarly Mountain Cookies. Do you guys
Yeah,
carry them? Yeah.
we do.
So I've known the owner of that company for a few years too, and same thing. He's been just really supportive of the things that I'm doing. I try and help out whenever I can with the things that he has going on. He makes an excellent product. I would say probably, yeah, I would say, yeah, they're probably some of the best cookies that I've had. And I know that what he does as far as the ingredients, because it's not just like a normal cookie. These are like gourmet, huge, like flavorful cookies. I would say they have almost like a chef's touch with some of the flavors that they have. But yeah, all these people have made a really big impact on the things that I do, and they've always been supportive of me and the things that I do. So I always try and be supportive of them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you couldn't have said it better too. Those cookies do have like a chef's touch to them. I mean, the root beer float, the pumpkin chai, just the triple chocolate chip.
Yeah.
They're all really good cookies.
Right, and they made with quality ingredients too, which I feel like people like see the flavors like, but like they're quality made things, and I feel like those are the things that I get to talk about that most people don't. As a consumer, if you're not really into it, you don't really know as far as like the quality and service that you're receiving when you go to these places.
Yeah, I mean the lost art of just making good product is dwindling because people just want to produce stuff that's fast. They just want to produce stuff that's gonna sell, and they don't care about the ingredients. But yeah, there are some people out there that are really trying, and you have to give those people their proper flowers because otherwise they will just be these lost voices in the community. And I think it's awesome too that we have all these tools with social media and podcasting and sharing and all these other ways of networking that people can really hone in on their craft and share it with the world.
Right, and I think that's probably that is one of my favorite things about social media and just being able to network because you're not limited to your mind. You know, you're not limited into just helping the people that are around you. You can visit other places and really have that same impact as far as getting to know, chef owners, bar managers, things like that. So that's really one of the things that kind of keeps me going when I think about social media and the aspect. A lot of people use social media for different reasons, some good, some bad. But when I think about all the good that I feel like I've done over the years in my, on my platform, I feel like I've definitely made a change within the community and just highlighting people who are doing great things.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing for the community and all the support that you give to everybody in it. Are there any big projects or any things that you're really setting goals for as far as with food in 2025?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't mind hosting some sort of network or food event this year. Uh, as you network and you meet a lot of cool people, a lot of cool chefs that are doing some really cool things within the community. I would definitely like to collaborate to host some sort of um, course dinner maybe start small for the first few and then kind of grow it out into something pretty cool. And I know a lot of people are doing supper clubs and things like that, but I feel like for one, there's always space to do whatever it is you want to do because nobody's doing it like you feel like you can do it. So I never feel like obligated to like, I've seen people do this already, so I'm not going to do it. So I definitely would want to do some sort of supper club-esque events. And then last year, I was hosting. I like to golf. I'm not that great at it, but I've been playing a few years now. And last year, I was hosting. We called it Links and Lunch, where we had, a few hours at one of the indoor simulators. Had a golf instructor there, kind of. I'm gonna see giving tips and tricks, not necessarily lessons. And then we had lunch during that time session. So I definitely would want to bring that back at some point, especially it's colder weather, so not a lot of people are playing outside right now. So I definitely would like to bring that back pretty soon too.
No, it's a cool idea. I mean, I love the execution of it too, because it takes two things and puts them together. One thing you really love and another thing that you love, and you've Links and Lunch. That's a great name. So that's a cool concept for being able to take those two things and just make it into something better.
Yeah, and I'm like really excited about that because I've had a lot of great feedback from last year, and I've had people message me. It's like, hey, are you going to do it again this year? So as we wrap up this month, I plan to really start diving in and looking for potential collaborations in that aspect.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I would love to help you out with a supper thing, and anything I can do to connect you with the right people, I would love to.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely talk more about that.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, Keith, I really appreciate you coming on today and just being able to talk to me about what you do in the community and what you're stepping into when it comes to food and the other aspects of supporting people that you love. Tell me and the audience where people can find you and where people can connect with you and network more.
Yeah. For one, I just want to say thank you for having me. I appreciate the time and your efforts in getting this set up. So this was really cool to talk more about the things that I've been doing in the community. Right now, you can find me on Instagram at _j.o.t.f. I'm currently working on rebranding my website, but for the time being, you can also find some of my work at www.gormangodpr.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Keith. Yeah, I would love to do another episode in the future. Just check in, see what you're doing, keep having you on the show, because that's what it's all about, is supporting people in the community as well as in the food networking. That's kind of why I started the whole thing. So I really appreciate you coming on, and we'll catch you next time.
All right,
have a great one, everybody.
I appreciate you, man.
No worries. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for joining me today on our flavorful journey here at Clean Plates. If you enjoyed our exploration into the world of food and the stories behind our eating habits, be sure to subscribe where you get your podcasts. And don't forget to share your own food stories on my personal page at Brian Waterleaf or the Clean Plates podcast page on Instagram. And remember, every plate has a story, and we are here to discover them together. So stay curious, keep exploring, and continue to nurture your relationship with food. I'm Brian Romaine, and until next time, keep your plates clean and your hearts full.